Thank you again to everyone that's joining me. Thank you again to old subscribers, new subscribers, people that are just stopping by. And if you are stopping by for the first time, again, massive thank you to yourself. Please consider giving us a subscribe, like the channel, like the video. Your support is massively appreciated. So what we're going to do is we're going to build on today build on the last video that we put up. Now, the last video I put up, I said we're going to do a few videos, a little mini series about some of the basic knowledge as a new beekeeper or as a beekeeper that's been doing it for some time should know. And the first thing we're going to do is talk about what's inside your hive. By that, I mean what types of bees you've got inside your hive. I was initially going to talk about different types of hives, basic equipment that you've got, but I do feel that if you're going to get into beekeeping, then I do think it's more important to know actually what's going inside your hive first of all before you then start looking at before you start buying equipment, deciding what type of hive you need and things like that. So you need to know what's going on inside your hive. We're going to break the section up into 3 parts. The first one is going to be about the queen. We're then going to talk about worker bees, and finally we're going to talk about drones. And before each section, shall I say, we'll put up a little picture up on front showing you exactly what the different types of bees look like, and then, like I said, we'll move on to a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of information about each type of bee. So first off, we'll talk about the queens. So first off, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the queen. Now, the queen is by far the most important bee in your colony. The reason I say that is there is only one queen, or there should only be one queen. And if there's more than one queen, you either have an issue or you're quite lucky. We'll talk about issues and such like that on a later episode. I just want to touch base about what's actually inside your hive at the moment and the makeup of the bees inside, basically. So the worker bees and queen bees will all start life off the same way, which is a fertilized egg. The difference being is if the hive needs a new queen, what they will do is they will produce a queen cup, which looks like an acorn. It looks like a top of an acorn. The queen, which is in the hive at the moment, will then lay an egg in that cup, and they will then pump that full of royal jelly. The queen will then grow inside, and she will be inside her cell for 16 days, I believe it is, and she will then hatch. She will then emerge. Sorry. And our first job is to go out and wipe out any other queen cells that are in there. So if you've got a hive which has decided to throw up about 5 or 6 different queen cells, that queen will come out and she'll kill the rest of the queens which are in there. Once that's done, her next responsibility, her next job is to go and mate. Now, the way of her mating is the fact that she will leave the hive. Now, she will then fly off to what's commonly known as a drone congregation zone. Apologies if I pronounced that slightly incorrectly. And where she will then aim to mate with around 20 different drones, which are the male's bees. Once she's mated enough, she'll then return to the hive, and that will be the only time she leaves the hive unless they're planning on swarming. She will then spend the rest of her life in that hive and just doing what she does. Now, as far as what she does, is her only job, her only responsibility is to lay the eggs. She lays the eggs most of the time it's around 1,000 eggs a day, but during the peak of the season, she could be laying anything up to 3,000 eggs per day. So that's on a massive hive. But on average, it's 1,000 eggs a day. So that is her only responsibility. That's her only job in which to do. Now, is the queen in charge of a hive? This is open debate. Some people think that she is. Some people think the queen is in charge. Some people think that it's in fact like a little committee that surrounds the queen, and they're the ones that make the decisions as to whether the queen is laying fertilized eggs to go on to become a worker bee, unfertilized eggs which will then become a drone, or of course if then they're making preparations of swarming to lay inside one of the queen cups. So that's the queen. That's her roles and responsibilities. I think what we'll touch base on next is we'll move on and have a chat about the worker bees. So next up, I'll chat about the worker bees. Now, the worker bees are the most common bee that you'll see in your hive. They're the ones that do all of the work, and they are the ones that do all the feeding or the collecting of nectar or the collecting of pollen, or the brood rearing, all of that sort of stuff. So everything is done by one of the worker bees. Now these are all female bees, and these are the only bees that are going to be the ones that sting you. Now, just like the queen, they will all start life as a fertilized egg, and these ones will take up to 21 days to emerge, so a little bit longer than the queen. Once they've emerged, they have then got a number of different jobs. Now, the number of different jobs that they do depends on their age. Now, once they've emerged from day 1 to day 5, so that's how old they're going to be, their only job is to then start cleaning, polishing up the frames. The cells inside the frames. They'll move on to day 6 to day 12, where their job is to feed the young. So these ones are commonly known as nurse bees. So their job is to look after the young and feed them and such like. Day 13 on to 18, their next job is to build up comb and to start ripening the nectar which is in there. So that means trying to reduce the water content which is in the nectar. Day 19 to 21, moving on again, their next job then moves on to guarding the hive. So they keep the wasps out, keep the other bees out and such like that. They then start going out on orientating flights as well. So they'll go out of the hive, circle around and make sure they know where the hive is. So when they do start going out and collecting pollen and nectar, they know their way back. And finally, from day 22 onwards, they will then be the ones that go out and collect the nectar, collect the pollen and such like, and bring it on back. Now, on average, the bees will typically live between 15 to 38 days. And that's not a long time. So they don't live for a long time, these bees. This is one of the reasons why the queen lays so many eggs. Because, like I said, the mere nature of the bee, they work themselves so hard that they die quite often, or they die constantly, and therefore the queen is constantly laying eggs. There's a scene in the Bee movie. I'm not a massive fan of that movie because it's not the most accurate. For one, like I said, the only one that's actually going to be doing any of the work is going to be the girls, not the boys. But there's a scene on there where they're looking at getting jobs and it's flicking over so quickly. And it is really that quick. The bees do die that quick. The bees are born that quickly, and it just keeps going on and on and on and on. The only time the bees live longer than their average is going to be when the winter comes in, when their whole anatomy changes, and they will then live over the weekend. I think it's live over the winter. So they'll live anywhere from 140, 150 days to 300 or so days. And this will just allow the bees to go from the winter into the spring. And these winter bees will be the first ones to then start up and get the hive running again in the spring. So that's the worker bees. Just again, like I said, a quick bit of information about what you should know about the worker bees and what they're going to be up to. All right, we move on to drones. So finally, we will start talking about drones. Now, drones are the male bees inside the hives, and they only have one job, and that's to mate with one of the virgin queens. So they'll then go off to these drone congregation areas, and their only job is to mate with a queen. They don't collect honey, they don't guard, they don't do anything. They are cleaned, they are fed. Everything is done by the females. So you might think that they've got a bit of a cushy life. However, once they do mate with a queen, they die. And if there is a problem in the hive, let's say for example there's a shortage of nectar around, they're kicked out, so they're pulled out of the hive. And when it comes down to autumn, all the drones are removed from the hive. The girls, the worker bees, grab them, chew their wings so they can't get back in, and literally kick them out of the hive. It is quite an impressive sight if you've ever seen this happening. But you can't help but feel sorry for the boys. But like I said, they have had quite a cushy life up until then. So they are the biggest bees that you'll see in there. They don't have a stinger, and you'll notice that they've got massive eyes. They're really big bees compared to the workers, and they're easy to spot. But like I said, they don't have a stinger, and their only purpose in life is to mate with a queen. Once they've mated, the drones will die. And like I said, if they don't mate and they're not needed anymore, the girls will evict them, chew their wings, stop them from coming back. And that's pretty much all you need to know about drones, which, like I said, the male bees, they come from an unfertilized egg. So if they want drones, the queen decides to start laying unfertilized eggs. They also take the longest to hatch. I think it's up to 24 days. 24 days for the drones to emerge. So that's from egg all the way through to emerging. Will take 24 days. And they are the biggest ones that you'll see. That's pretty much all I want to cover in this first video. And it's like I said, it's a very basic dipping your toe in what's going on inside your hive as far as the different types of bees go. Not too sure what the next video is going to be about. We'll have a little think about it and we'll publish it as and when we can. And what I do at the end of this video, I'll make sure there's a few pictures up showing the different stages of the bee's growth. There's a really good picture which shows the egg being laid to the time that it develops from egg to larvae to pupa to when it's being capped and to when it merges as a full-size bee. So I'll make sure that picture's on my on this video as well. It's really a good one. Do yourself a favour and pause it and have a look at that once you watch the rest of the video. So like I said, that's it for today, and hopefully a lot more content coming very soon. We have got some more kit coming our way very soon, which I'll be doing a video on but that will be part of our, not this series I'd say, but our main series going on there soon. So I say, if you haven't liked or commented or subscribed at any time, please consider doing so. And if you have any questions, any queries, any issues, or anything like that you want to discuss with me, please pop it in the comments, and I'm really happy to answer any questions. Like I said, I am passionate about beekeeping. I really enjoy beekeeping. So anyone that wants to spark up a conversation about bees, I'm more than happy to help. So thanks again for your time. You have a great day. Thanks again. Bye-bye.